The MLB season is in full swing, and we're seeing a lot of different things go on that we really didn't expect this season. And I wanted to put every single 2025 MLB team into a tier list based on what we've seen so far throughout the first few weeks. So I have a bunch of different tiers that we're going to drop every single team into. We have the World Series here, that it's basically World Series or bust, or I could really see you going all the way this year. Pennant chase that, hey, maybe you're going to end up being like the 2024 New York Mets. Maybe you're going to be like the 2024 Kansas City Royals. You could end up making it to the CS, and you never know, you could win. Good season ahead. This is a good roster, and I think you're going to have a very solid year, and you're going to be competing for a playoff spot. A good roster, but maybe not the start you wanted, and maybe they're going to end up panicking. Got more teams in there than I thought. Fun start, but not sustainable. We see this every year. Teams get off to hot starts, and then they kind of fizzle out towards we get to the course of the year, and teams that didn't have good expectations and didn't get off to a good start. All right, so let's start off with the New York Yankees. Always a good place to start. I think the Yankees, man, I don't really know right now out of the American League who I would take, because the Yankees with Cole, I would be very high on. But I do think the Yankees right now are still going to be competing for a World Series. One, the AL is wide open. Two, they're getting really good starts out of Ben Rice, Anthony Volpe. Obviously, you have Aaron Judge getting off to his elite start. Jazz's average has dropped a little bit, but could still be an electric player for this team. I know Devin Williams hasn't gotten off to a great start either, but I think the rotation is going to be fine. I think they're going to add throughout the year. I mean, I'm just going to look through these AL teams, and I don't know who I can confidently say I would take over winning the American League outside the Yankees. Maybe I just don't have any team in the World Series, and maybe who I think makes it out of the American League has no chance against the NL. So maybe I'm actually going to just throw the Yankees in the pennant chase tier, which I don't think they're a tier 1 team, but I think they're a tier 2 team right now. Next up, we have the Seattle Mariners. Oh man, I'm going to put them in good roster, but might panic. I mean, they have arguably the best rotation in baseball. I know Kirby's banked up to start off the year, but this team, yet again, hasn't really had the best offensive start. Now, I do think they can still win their division this year, but I just think you look at their lineup, and you might just see disappointment after disappointment this year with guys just can't hit in T-Mobile. And Jerry Dipoto did nothing to add to this lineup, basically, in the offseason. I like they re-signed Cal Raleigh, and then obviously you have Julio Rodriguez, one of the better young players, or more exciting young players in the league, but there's just really not a lot to get excited about this current lineup. Now, I love Andres Munoz. I love Logan Gilbert. I know he didn't have the best start the other day. And then you got Luis Castillo, who's super competitive in Woo, and I know Hancock got rocked, but I think this is a good roster overall. It's a good farm system. I do wonder if they panic at one point just because of the bats not coming alive to start off the year. The Rays, I just think it's a fun start, but it's not sustainable. I think like the Rays, I don't know. They're going to use their analytical way of thinking. Mason Montgomery looked really cool to start off the year, throwing absolute heat. I mean, Junior Caminero is going to get hot going. Like, we'll see how consistent Jake Magnum will actually be this year. You throw in Josh Lowe, already getting hurt. Brandon Wow got off to a good start this year. Caballero got off to a good start this year. I mean, McClellan, like, this could be a good rotation if Pepio can look like the legitimate piece he could be from that trade. I mean, I think maybe the Rays can be competitive this year, and, like, they're always going to be, I think, solid enough. So I don't even know if I want to put them in the fun start but not sustainable. I think the Rays are good, but I just don't think they're in the not good tier. So I think there's been some fun moments this year. It's just not really going to result into wins. For the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, man, they paid Vladdy. I know my last video, I talked about Vladdy potentially being the best trade piece on the market this year, and then a couple days later he ends up getting signed, which I'm glad. I want to see these homegrown stars stay in the teams that brought him up, and he signed there to be basically a Blue Jay for life, got a $325 million signing bonus. I mean, for the Blue Jays, man, I still don't love this roster. I had questions about it going into the year, but Jimenez, George Springer have gone off to good starts. Kevin Gausman had a gem the other night as well. I think it's a fun start, but I don't think it's sustainable. Like I said, the AL is wide open. I'm going to sound like a Blue Jays hater, and I don't want to, but I do think they're in a team that needs to keep building around Vladdy, and they started with Santander and Hoffman, and maybe they need a starter or two. I still don't think they make the playoffs, but I'm glad they're paying their guys. I wouldn't expect Bichette to be on this team next year, but I do think the Blue Jays, if they do add in the offseason, I know I'm asking you to spend right after spending major money for Vladdy, then you can be better going forward. Miami, definitely a fun start as well, but not sustainable. I mean, this is one of the worst rosters on paper in the league. They've had some fun starts from some guys this year. I'm going to enjoy watching Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards and maybe even Griffin Conine because of his dad out there in left this season. And hopefully Sandy's on this team at the end of the year, but he's probably going to get traded to a contender, so maybe I'd prefer that. Like, they've been respectable to start off the year, but they've also played the Pirates, who we're going to have in a different tier as well, but I don't think the Marlins are going to be good throughout the year. I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals have actually got off to a solid start this year. I don't know if they're like a panic team. I think they're like similar to the Rays. I just didn't really have high expectations. But the NL Central, talk about another wide open division. I think the Cardinals may actually have a good season ahead. Even I know Ivan Herrera got hurt, but got off to a great start this year. Brandon Donovan is raking the ball, and Wilson Contreras can't be this bad all year long. Eric Fedde had a good start the other day, although it was in like freezing weather in Pittsburgh. I think the Cardinals are going to be a little bit more competitive than we may have thought this year. And I like Victor Scott, Mason Wynn. It's got to get going for Wynn part, and Scott's been off to a good start. I think they're going to be a fun team this year, more fun and frisky than we thought. So Houston, think we might be panicking. I don't think Paredes, like I'm not worried about Isaac Paredes, but Walker off to a bad start. Are we getting Jose Abreu flashbacks? Bregman's raking in Boston. Springer is raking in Toronto. Kyle Tucker is raking in Cleveland. I'm not like worried about the pitching. It could definitely be better, but like Fromber and Brown, I'm really relying on at the top. But how is this bullpen going to be throughout the year? I mean, Cam Smith, you're asking a lot out of somebody that young, and Altuve's off to a good start, but I mean, they could end up panicking. Once again, the NL West is another wide open division, it feels like this year. Another definition of a good roster for panicking, the Atlanta Braves. This bullpen is not great. Now, Spencer Strider had a really good rehab outing and is going to be back very soon, and they needed a sale. Not looking like last year's sale to start off the year, but Spencer Schwellenbach looks like another stud, a converted shortstop, I believe, to a pitcher, and he's just a beast already, and not really a large sample size of his professional career. I mean, the bat's got to get going, right? You're eventually going to get back Ronald Acuna, but this is a tough National League. The wild card is going to be very thin because we got some really good teams in the NL, and the Braves can't afford to be in a hole this year with guys, I don't know, Azuna's a free agent at the end of the year. Olsen hasn't looked like what he has since that 2023 season. Can Riley be consistent for you as well? Ozzy Albies. I mean, this is such a talented roster, but yeah, not off to a good start whatsoever. Same with Baltimore, man. I'm selling the Tyler O'Neill stock, from the start this year. I think he's going to be a fine player. I don't think he's going to be like an elite player for the Orioles this year. I mean, I love watching Adley and Gunnar when he's healthy this year, and I hope we see Kobe Mayo up or maybe Samuel Basallo. I just don't trust his starting rotation. And Felix Bautista's looked a little bit shaky in that one start or in that one relief appearance this year. I wonder how the bullpen's going to look. I just don't really trust the Orioles pitching staff right now. I think they're another good roster, but could definitely panic at one point. Guardians, same thing. I was so low on the Guardians going into 2024. I faded them, and they proved me very wrong that season. But this team is so shaky, and if you look at their lineup without Jose Ramirez, we had that game with that this year. It's not a great lineup. Like, Manzardo's got a little bit of power. We know Kwan's got contact. They traded away Andres Jimenez in the offseason. I'm not really too moved by their lineup, and I know they ended up making it to the ALDS last year. And in the beginning of the video, my bad, like the Guardians ended up making it to the ALCS, not the Kansas City Royals. But either way, I just don't think the Guardians, who could definitely run away, probably in the worst division in the league this year, I don't think they're going to be able to. Colorado, you're not good. It's funny because the NL West is the best division probably in baseball. You have 4 really good teams, and then you have the Rockies. I'm glad they called up Zach Veen. Dollander looked good in his first start. They're just still staying the course. Hopefully we see Charlie Condon have a good minor league season. You have Tovar. Hopefully Amador can maybe rebound some of his stock. And this could be a more exciting team by the end of the year, but yeah, they're not going to be great this year. Detroit, I think we're going to have a good season ahead. I wouldn't really bank on them to be in the pennant chase. Also, a little bit of a slower start. I was surprised when Jackson Jobe made the opening day roster, but maybe we have Spencer Torkelson back. Dylan Dingler is raking the ball to start off the year. Javier Baez is making some flashy plays, but if we can get maybe consistent play out of like Henry Malloy and Riley Green, I think the pieces will come throughout the year, and you have a good, Scuba looks like an ace yet again, and probably will win AL Cy Young. Kansas City, I wonder if they're a good roster, but might panic as well. I'm worried about this team a little bit. I wonder how consistent the bats are going to be with Bobby Witt. I think it helps them playing in a bad division where they could be fine over the course of the year. But I wonder if they're going to be a team that's panicking. We may have a lot of teams that are panicking according to my tier list. Same with the Milwaukee Brewers, who honestly, I don't think are good, but they've had so many injuries to start off the year. But honestly, I think they're just going to be consistent. I mean, that's how they are every year. They don't have the flashiest roster, but Bryce Harang's off to a good start. Churio, Yelich isn't off to the best start, but this is going to be, I still think, a fun lineup throughout the course of the year. They just traded for Quinn Priester and maybe overpaid for him, but we'll see how the rotation looks at full strength with Peralta and Woodruff, and hopefully Tobias Myers back at full strength sooner than later. I want to buy into the Angels start. I really do, but I just don't think it's sustainable. I hope I'm wrong, man. I wanted to see the Angels be good for so long now because I love Mike Trout and I want to see him in the playoffs. And Kyron Paris is off to a great start. Taylor Ward's off to a great start. You obviously have Trout in that lineup. You're getting Zach Neto back soon. You got Nola Shanuel. If the pitching staff can look semi-decent, I don't think the AL West is going to be impossible to win this year, but I think you really need to have a surprising start. And we saw that a few years ago where like Anthony Rendon hit that left-handed home run. Reed Detmers threw a no-hitter against Tampa Bay in that game. And we're like, all right, the Angels are going to be good. And then, yeah, they kind of flamed out a little bit. It's just I've been burned by them in the past. I've been let down by them in the past. I want to see it before I can believe it. I think Oakland, same thing. It's so weird, the ballpark, or not Oakland anymore, right? Sacramento, San Francisco, Sacramento or not San Francisco, or Las Vegas. Either way, I mean, they're going to be a fun team this year. Tyler Soderstrom looks like an absolute beast. Even Brent Rooker's on off to a great start in this lineup. Still looks good with Jacob Wilson. Going to be such a good contact hitter this year. You had one of the better breakouts last year, Lawrence Butler. They can have semi-good pitching this year. They could be a fun team, but I don't think they're going to be like a good team this year. I do think they'll probably still end up at the bottom of the AL West. It's still going to be the Angels and the A's competing for that spot. I think the Phillies, I mean, I still think they're a pennant chase team. They're off to a good start. Jesus Luzardo looks like a beast for them. Aaron Nolan's going to be more consistent and Wheeler throughout the year as the season gets going along. Rangers banked up right now. Like Bryce is hitting the ball well. Turner's hitting the ball well. Castellanos is hitting the ball well. I think JT will eventually get going. Max Kepler looks like a good pickup. And then you're also going to get Andrew Painter winning in the wings as well. I do think the Phillies, I mean, you might not take them to win the NL because it's such a loaded league. It's so much better than the AL. I still think the Phillies have a chance at winning the World Series this year. The Pirates, yeah, they're not good. I can't watch this team this year, man. It's tough. Like, I think Brian Reynolds is going to get traded at one point. We'll see if they call up any of the bats, but like Keller had a good start the other day. Well, hopefully Jared Jones gets healthy. Hopefully Harrington's on this team throughout the whole year, but it's really just Paul Skeens to get excited about there in Pittsburgh and O'Neal Cruz as well. I think the Padres could win. I'm sorry about the outdated logos, but I think the Padres could win the World Series this year. If they keep Michael King, if they keep Dylan Cease, I mean, this top half of the lineup is electric. Jackson Merrill, who got that pre-arb extension. Tatis, Machado stealing some bags this year. You still have Cronenworth. And then you also have Arias and Sheets is hitting the ball well. You have a great bullpen. I mean, I think I may throw them in World Series. We'll see, though. Maybe I'll throw them in pennant chase for now. Texas Rangers, I think we have a good season ahead for the Rangers. I don't know. Like, I may honestly take them as the second best team in the AL when it's all said and done if I want to throw another team up there. Because Leiter's off to a good start, but I know recently got injured. They got good bats. It's just, I don't know if I could trust their pitching because their pitching staff, I mean, you have Evaldi, you have DeGrom getting into their later years. We'll see if the young guys will step up. The bullpen is very shaky right now. But I do think they're going to have a good season. The Red Sox, I think they can still compete for the pennant. The pitching staff's got to come along, but Crochet looks electric. He got extended. I mean, Campbell, the young guys are hitting. Will Abreu's hitting. Shout out to that Chaim Bloom trade, which was Christian Vasquez for Will Abreu. That looks great. Roman Anthony's coming up as well. Bregman's raking the ball, and this is with Devers' slow start, who's been heating up as of late as well. Anything you get out of Trevor Story is a productive year. I think the Red Sox are going to be up there with the Yankees this year in the AL West. I think we're going to see a good season ahead for the Giants. I had the Giants ahead of the Padres in my preseason predictions, which I don't think is going to age the best. But hey, the Giants bats are off to a great start. Yastrzemski had an electric walk-off the other day. Helio Ramos is off to a great start. Adames is off to a good start. Chapman's off to a good start. It's just if that pitching staff can hold up. And Ryan Walker's just an absolute stud out of the pen. The Dodgers, I mean, they might be in their own tier. They really might be in their own tier. Like, they already lost Blake Snell for a little bit, and I'm not worried in the slightest. They may lose Glasnow at one point this year, and they're probably still going to end up winning the World Series. It's just that lineup is insane. That bullpen is insane. That's just Ohtani, Freeman, Betts. I mean, Teoscar, if they could stay healthy, they're electric. Conforto and Scott look like solid pickups already. I think the Diamondbacks are really good as well. I think they're going to come along as of late, and they extended Fott off to a rough start. Burns off to a rough start. Gallant's had a good game and a bad game. I think the pitching staff is going to be fine. I know they lost Montgomery, but he didn't really help them out that much last year. Justin Martinez, one of the more electric bullpen arms in the MLB. And the lineup's really good. They extended Ketel Marte for whatever reason. Maybe they think a salary cap's coming. Corbin Carroll. They have Josh Naylor. It's a good team over there in Arizona. It's just like, I think there's 4 really good teams. Well, 3 really good teams and 1 elite team in the NL West. We got the Mets. I think the Mets can probably compete for the pennant. I don't think they're that far behind the Padres or the Phillies. I would say that the Diamondbacks, Padres, and Phillies are probably better on paper, but the Mets are off to a good start, and their bottom half of their lineup has been abysmal. I mean, like, Brett Beatty might be sent down to AAA very soon. They're still going to get Minaya and Montas back. Their bullpen has been one of the best in baseball this year. David Stearns cooked with that. They have Juan Soto and Lindor, and Pete Alonso's off to a fantastic start this year. They got some guys in the upper minors that can help them out. I do think the Mets, I mean, they were in it last year. I think they'll be competing for it this year. The White Sox are not good. I don't know. I think that's going to be it for this tier. The White Sox, maybe. They have to be more exciting this year, given last year. I think the Twins, I think, like, I don't know. Like, they could go on a run. Like, the Twins, Guardians, and Royals can go on a run, and this is going to look outdated. But I think they have a good roster, but there's a chance they may panic this year. I do think the AL Central is wide open, for sure. Any one of the teams outside the White Sox could win the division, but there's a chance that, I mean, they're very top-heavy, for sure. I mean, Matt Wallner's off to a good start, but, like, can you rely on Buxton and Correa and Royce Lewis throughout 162 games? We'll see how the pitching staff looks with Ryan and Pablo. Can they carry that rotation? They have a good pen, or an all right pen. We'll see how it's going to look throughout the year. I think the Cubs are going to have a good season ahead as well. I don't know if I could take them over, like, the Padres, Diamondbacks, Phillies, or Mets, but I do think they're going to win the NL Central. And Seiya Suzuki and Kyle Tucker might be the best duo in baseball. The Nationals, I think they're just, like, probably in this tier. I don't know if fun start is not sustainable, but, like, that's probably a bad name for the tier. I think, like, James Wood is going to be fun. Like, Dylan Cruz can't be this bad this whole year. But I don't think they're going to be competing for a top 2 spot, at least in the NL East. At this rate, maybe they're better than the Braves this year, but I wouldn't bet on that at the end of the year. And the Reds, I don't know if they would, like, panic, though, because they're not, like, leveraged into veterans on this team. I mean, I might just go and change this to probably no playoffs this year. I think Miami's eventually going to fall into the not good tier, but I do think these guys are probably a step above. I did think Cincinnati was going to finish second in the NL Central, which can happen. Like, I don't know if they're going to panic, though. Like, a lot of these teams are older or more expensive than the Reds, where I don't think they would panic. I think I'll probably just throw them in there, though, because I do think they're a tier above these teams as well. And maybe the Blue Jays would probably end up panicking as well, which would be a sell-off if my expectations end up being correct. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.